North Carolina, the congressman from the 3rd District, Congressman Walter Jones. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Well, John, thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be on your show, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and may God continue to bless America.
Well, thank you, sir, and Merry Christmas to you and your family as well. I want to get to what I'm calling the Great Republican Sellout. People are trying to figure out, Congressman Jones, right now what the deal is. We elected 9 Republican senators. We just blew out Mary Landrieu in Louisiana. We increased the majority in the House by 13. Most of those elected solid movement conservatives. And yet we're giving away the store once again, another $1.1 trillion spending bill about to be pushed through at midnight on Thursday. No defunding of Obama's illegal amnesty. No resolution for war. We're dropping bombs on Syria. They're doing whatever they please. What's the deal?
John, this is one of the most frustrating times. I've been here 20 years, and I've always been very outspoken about the growing debt of our nation. And let me explain very quickly. When Bill Clinton left office in the year 2000, that's just 14 years ago, the debt of our nation was $5.6 trillion. Today, it is over $17.8 trillion. And I do not understand the Congress why we continue to increase the spending. And most of that spending, your point is well made, John, is going overseas. We don't declare war anymore. We just let a president, whether it be Bush with an unnecessary war in Iraq, or whether we let Obama bomb Libya, and now Syria, and now Iraq, and without coming to Congress. And I blame the Congress for that, John. And if we continue to go down this road of spending money we don't have, we're headed for a collapse in this country, in my opinion.
Why are you, Congressman Jones, only a handful of people saying this? I mean, it's to anybody out there, to the layman looking in, this is plain as a nose on your face. And what we're going to get is another one of these $1.1 trillion spending bills through September. Oh, we don't want to shut the government down. I get that. But you're not even going to have a chance to read it.
John, no, and we didn't last week with the defense bill. It was over 800 pages, and I ended up voting no on that. My staff got the bill that morning, and we tried together to figure out what sections of the bill that I really need to know more about, because it might impact down in my district, Camp Lejeune and Cherry Point Marine Air Station. This is what the leadership does too often, and I was quoted recently as saying, yeah, they can play games with the members of Congress, but they need to realize they're playing games with the American people and the American people's future, and that is wrong. And I do not understand why more, and I hope some of these newly elected freshmen that are coming in will be true to their word as they campaign and not fall in line with the leadership, because the leadership is bought and paid for by special interests.
Well, you got to ask yourself, the leadership of the Republican House caucus right now, which is pushing for this ominous spending bill, pushing to get out of town, giving up their power over defunding anything, especially amnesty, you have to start to ask yourself, did they watch the election returns? Did John Boehner, did Kevin McCarthy, did they get the memo?
John, it's the old saying of absolute power corrupts, and it's the arrogance of leadership. They are not in touch. They can say they are, but in my opinion, they're not in touch with the people that I'm listening to in eastern North Carolina and probably in your section of Virginia. And people are becoming aware that Congress is not representing their best interests of themselves, but also their children's future. I just hope that the people will, as we get into the new year, I hope they'll let their voices be heard. And something you said about the billiard table of getting kids off the Internet. I spoke to the Young Americans for Freedom. That's a Ron Paul Young American movement here in America. And they had a national meeting over at George Mason University, and at the end of the meeting, they asked 7 of us give our own ideas of what these young people, 300 of them, need to do. I said, get off the Internet and get in the streets. We need to let Congress know that Congress works for the people. Congress does not work for itself.
Look, Congressman Jones, there's no question, but the issue becomes really by once you pass this spending bill getting through September, you basically have given President Obama everything he needs, right?
John, that's right. And let me tell you also, in March of this year, in 2015, we're going to have another vote on the floor of the House to raise the debt ceiling so that we can raise the debt ceiling. The president can borrow more money from foreign governments to pay the bills for last year. We did it 7 times out of 8 years for President Bush. I don't vote for him, but I got to say it because I'm part of the body that does vote for him. We've already given President Obama 5 debt ceiling increases since he's been in office 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. We keep spending more money. We raise the debt ceiling to allow the president to pay for what we're spending. John, it's going to catch up to us one day. It's going to choke us.
We're with Congressman Walter Jones, Republican from North Carolina's 3rd District. He's on the John Fredericks Show across Virginia. Congressman Jones, again, I want to thank you for being with us.
Sure.
Now, let me ask you this straight out. Within the confines that you're dealing with right now, when you look at this debt, $17 trillion, what's the number that is going to get Democrats and other Republicans' attention? Is it 20 million? Is it 24 million? Trillion? What's the debt number when a majority of the people in the upper and the lower chamber are finally going to say, ooh, wait a minute, we need to do something about this? What's the number?
John, I think as we get closer to 20 trillion, I think when foreign governments start publicly announcing that they have no confidence in America paying on its debt and paying down on the debt, I think when that starts to happen, and those conversations will happen over a period of time. We know that's what happened in Greece. We know that's what's happened in Spain. When other countries get a little bit shaky about a nation that cannot even pay its debts, then that's when I think we're going to start feeling it and seeing it. And I think that comes somewhere around $20 trillion. I really do.
Congressman Jones, you were very critical of President Obama's plan to allow illegals to serve in the U.S. military. You represent one of the most vibrant military areas in the United States. Why?
Well, John, for me personally, I have worked with my staff to help several members of the Marine Corps who were going to be sent overseas to Iraq, who were in the process of getting their citizenship, but it had not come through by the time they were sent to Iraq. And my concern was that they might be killed there, and they were trying to become an American citizen through the legal way. The way I look at this is that if you start making exceptions, then I think when a person joins the military, they can start that process of becoming an American citizen. And I think they should start the process. If you want to expedite the process, fine. But just because somebody's in the military and they're in this country legally and they did not let it be known, I just don't think you can make those exceptions. An exception here leads to an exception there, and then all of a sudden you have no law.
Congressman Jones, Obama's Illegal Amnesty Act, I think it was illegal. A lot of people thought, well, we can defund the pieces of it that would stop him from implementing it. But you passed this $1.1 trillion amnesty bill, total spending bill, omnibus bill, and that's the end of that, right?
Yes, it is, John. You know what? I was listening to your ad about Hargrave Military Academy. I went to Hargrave Military Academy.
Fabulous.
Best 2 years of my life, very positive experience 1,000 years ago. But let me make the point. We have a Constitution, and we in Congress swear to God that we will uphold the Constitution. So does the President. And when there's a question of whether the President did or did not violate the Constitution, then let's proceed, with impeachment. We as a Congress, I put a resolution in. It was a House resolution after President Obama bypassed Congress to bomb Libya. I voted with Dennis Kucinich when George Bush was president to start proceedings of impeachment against President Bush because they misled us with the intelligence to go into Iraq. I don't know why this Congress does not understand that the The Constitution gives us this authority, and that is part of the process. That's how we have good government, by trying to follow the process. And if you introduce articles of impeachment, John, and you go through the process, and the committees of jurisdiction say, no, we don't think it's justified, then it stops. But we don't even start the process.
What is leadership afraid of?
I don't know. I have many good friends that feel the way I do and you do, and we get very frustrated because we think the leadership, quite frankly, is out of touch with the Republican majority in the House, and we think they're out of touch with the American people. But because we won this election recently, now they are buoyed, so to speak, in thinking that, now the American people have spoken. They want the Republicans to lead the House and Senate. I think they're misreading the vote, quite frankly.
You know, my good friend in Georgia, Dr. Paul Brown, congressman, who's leaving in a week. Great friend of mine. Great guy. I talk to him all the time. I said, how do you feel about leaving? And he says, I feel bad that I couldn't contribute more. But he said, on the other hand, this place is really driving me berserk. So he says, I'm happy to get out because I just can't get anybody to understand the issues that we have. He says he'll keep talking them up, but it's been a tough situation for people like yourself and Dr. Brown. I got about a minute. Tim Kaine, senator from Virginia, has been very adamant in saying we have no right to be dropping these bombs in Syria or Iraq. He's called for a reenaction of the War Powers Act, and he's asked President Obama to not let Congress go home until they come to Congress with an authorization to continue this war. What say you?
I agree with Senator Kaine 110%. I've been preaching this for about 4 years now, that no president should bypass Congress and make decisions that could endanger our young men and women in uniform without action of Congress. I agree with the senator 110%.
All right. Well, that's going to be the final word. We want to thank Congressman Walter Jones for being with us. If you want more information on the congressman, go to jones.house.gov. That's jones.house.gov. Congressman Walter Jones, representing the 3rd District of the Tar Heel State, and he is a Republican. Thanks for being with us, sir.
Thank you, John. Merry Christmas.
Have a happy holiday, Congressman.